Hey guys, what's up? It's Jake from another episode 3 of On the Rise Music. Today's guest, we have dubstep producer and EDM producer, Killin Void. So how you doing, man?
Hello, everyone. I'm great. How about you?
Well, we're just living, we're trying to get through this quarantine and everything that's going on, but keeping our head on our shoulders. So,
Yeah.
all right. So first things first. First thing I heard about you was that you were from Austria. That's pretty crazy. What part of Austria are you from?
Salzburg. So that's actually the part where Mozart was born. So
Oh, no
if
way.
you, yeah, 10 minutes from here is the place where he was born. So that's
Oh,
pretty close, yeah.
look at that. Two music greats.
Yeah, I also have the white hair, so
That's
there's a
right. That's right.
reference.
Just exactly like him. So recently you had a mix called Pixel Perfect. So how was that? How was working with that and like a major label? Because I understand the guy that you collabed with, he's a pretty large following. So how was that like getting to know him as an artist and just working with the label?
Yeah, so how everything came together was I had a session with Chime, like a tutoring session where I would show him some tracks and just he would tell me what to improve, and he didn't really have to say a lot. And then he was like, "Yeah, you just wanna release something on the label on Rushdown," and I was like, "Yeah, hell yeah, of course." And so that's what everything started. At that point, it was like a half an EP that I showed him, and
Mm.
but it wasn't finished yet. And then he was talking about these remixes, and then I did one of those Pixel Perfect remixes, and that's now my first official release on Rushdown. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I listened to it last night and it was pretty crazy, man. I'm not gonna lie. It was I'm not much of a fan of EDM, but that I was just like I was like, yeah, dubstep. Like I used to mess with dubstep a lot when I was like in seventh, eighth grade. Kind of just like I
Yeah.
don't know. It's just I never really pursued it that much after that. And then I listened to that and it brought me back to some crazy memories from middle school, just having fun
Yeah,
listening to music.
but it's actually a lot of stuff. So I think
Oh,
I have
definitely.
like a trappy intro, then it goes
Hmm.
into dubstep, then the break is hard style,
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
it
it
goes
was
back to
crazy.
dubstep.
Yeah,
Mix a lot of around.
it was fun. It was really fun listening to. How
Yeah.
old are you exactly? And like when did you start getting
Uh,
into music?
so I'm 20 years old now, and I started 5 years ago. So that was at my 15th birthday.
Mm.
That's where I got Ableton, and yeah, that basically started it. At the beginning, of course, it was just messing around, making stupid shit. A few things are still online from that time, where I was messing around the first time with Ableton, and just holy crap, it's just so weird listening back to my first music from 5 years ago. It's like
Oh,
really, really,
definitely.
really. I didn't even know music theory. I didn't even know what keys are. So everything was all over the place. But yeah, that was like the first 2 years just messing around, and I don't know, just getting to use how Ableton works and everything. And then after 2 years, it got more serious, and I was like, okay, I really want to do this and follow this passion. And yeah, now I really like it's my main thing now basically. I mean, I'm going to university, but the goal would be to work as an independent artist in a few years.
Yeah, I mean, hey man, you can do it. You got the big collab with on Pixel Perfect, and yeah, so you're making moves.
And
Um, so like, who was the first artist that you really saw and they inspired you to want to create and to be like a dubstep EDM producer?
well, yeah, like for most people, I guess it was Skrillex. I remember seeing the first time I actually heard dubstep, it was like such a revelation. It was actually in the radio. Normally
Oh,
they
okay.
wouldn't play something like that, but that was the time
Hmm.
when Bangarang came out, and it was really
Yeah.
popular. And they even played it in Austrian radio, in commercial radio, and I was like, "Holy shit, what is that?" I thought it was some kind of metal thing, electronic metal, kind of like that. And but I didn't know what to search online to find this music. And then I think um, half a year later, I got Just Dance 4 for the Wii,
Okay.
And this in that game there is a Skrillex rock and roll, and I was like, oh, I think that's the thing I
Yeah.
heard back then. And then that's what started everything. I went on YouTube, searched Skrillex, and it was like diving into a whole new world. And yeah, I'm still caught up in it. And yeah, it basically was Skrillex who initiated everything. I think it's for a lot of people, he was the starting point to get into music production and especially dubstep, I guess.
Yeah, I remember. Dude, I remember totally when Skrillex blew up off of Bangarang. That was crazy. It was out of nowhere, and I was just like listening to it. I listened to I had Dirty Sprites, or the wow, God, what's it called? The Nice Spirits, Dirty Sprites, the remix
Yeah,
tape
nice.
with the Bear Noise remix. That was my favorite one. Yeah, dude, I used to be all on that. That's crazy. That I mean, I can hear it like completely. I totally hear his inspiration and how he worked his way into your music production. So that's kind of
Mhm.
insane. So like you produce melodic rhythm music. This is what Tommy's telling me. So how do you like producing that? And like, was there a point that that you really wanted to focus on that music, or is it just that it just happened that you were good at that and just wanted to produce it?
I don't really know. I've been struggling a lot to find my own sound and the style I wanted to go for. If you, I don't know if you would search on my SoundCloud, like the tracks from, I don't know, 2 years ago, it was all over the place. I mean, it was a lot of dubstep, but it was some weird drum and bass, it was huge bass. The dubstep itself was also like not a clear line. And then heard some artists coming up like Ace Aura that were following this melodic but hard rhythm sound kind of, and I really loved that. I don't know, I connected to that, and then I got into that, and it resonated with me so much that I kept going with it and developed my own style within that genre. And I guess I'm happy now. I will probably change over the time, but at the moment I'm really happy with that, and I will see where it takes me.
Yeah, good for you, man. Did you ever like? I know as a producer and like an artist and just a creative in general, there comes a point when people just hit like a roadblock and they don't understand like what's going on or how to push through it. Was there ever a time, or are you still facing those times, where you just hit a roadblock and don't know where else to go and you feel like quitting?
At the moment, I have that like literally every second day, I think, because I'm doing these remixes for a remix contest, and they said you could do 18 remixes, and obviously nobody does 18 remixes because that's
Yeah.
insane. But I thought, why not do 18 remixes? So I'm doing 18 remixes within 2 months, and that means I have to finish one remix every 4 days.
Wow.
That's just crazy. And yeah, it's a lot of pressure, and that's causes a lot of like those roadblocks that you just
Hmm.
mentioned, where you just don't know what to do, and you think like, okay, I have to go on. And that's actually kind of a good thing, I think, because most of the time, if you hit that roadblock and you just say, okay, I don't know, today it doesn't work, I will play some games, I will do something else, maybe it works tomorrow. Then tomorrow it doesn't work as well, because you are still facing this roadblock kind of, and you didn't push it, you just went away. But you really have to, I don't know, I realized that you really have to tackle it actively. I mean, obviously sometimes it's good to walk away and leave everything behind and just get your mind off. But
Hmm.
if you really want to go through this roadblock, you have to actively work on it. And or probably you could also call it a writer's block. You have,
Yeah.
and I
Oh,
really think
totally.
that you just have to. Inspiration doesn't come out of some of it. Sometimes comes out of nowhere. To be fair, but if you really want to get something done, I would really um, do active thing to get your motivation back, like watching some other music, watching some music videos, or just something that might get you inspired, not just playing some games that is just taking your mind off. But that's my opinion. That's what I learned over the past month. and that really helped me like actively working on motivation problems.
Yeah, that's interesting. I hear people talk like either they just take a break completely and take a step back and look at a different way, but your perspective makes total sense. Like you're not gonna get something if you're not actively trying to get it. So like same thing with inspiration. If you're not actively searching for inspiration, then yeah, of course you're not gonna get it. So that's really interesting. I really like that point that you made. Killin Void. Let's get into that. Where did you get that name? That name's crazy, man. Like it's kind of like it's there. It's a loud name. So like what made you come up with that idea?
Well, I guess it's a main point about it was actually my name is Killian,
That's
and
right.
that
Yeah.
always made me think like, okay, I want to have some kill thing into my name, and then I was thinking like, okay, what could I combine it with? And I personally am really fascinated with like space stuff and
Okay.
black holes and stuff like that, and obviously a black hole and void. I just I don't know, watched some documentary, I think, about black holes, and then this word popped up, and I was like, oh, I'm killing the void. Oh, that sounds dope. I'm gonna make that my artist name, and that's basically how it came into place. And now I'm playing a bit with it. Like, um, I like to imagine my sounds being like some kind of force that comes from the void and takes people with it and captures them and makes them forget everyday life and like to build on that name. Sometimes, I mean, you don't necessarily need to incorporate your name in your branding and your music, but
Mhm.
I don't know. I just don't want this name to be there and like, yeah, that's just my name, but doesn't have anything to do with me. So I really want to incorporate it with myself and express myself also through my name.
Yeah, that's interesting. Do you find that your name helps and pushes you to make, because like you mentioned, you want to like have the music come from the void. Do you find that aesthetic or the purpose for your name has anything to do with like inspiring your music, or do you just make music and it just happens that it matches exactly what you want your name to produce?
Yeah, lately it actually influenced my music. For a long time it didn't, but I really went like the way it incorporates into music is that I kind of started to make my music very minimalistic and just one element then and that is building up and more elements are coming like just one plug and then over time more and more plugs are coming and more sounds and I feel like that um, sounds very voidy to me if it just starts off with
Hmm.
one little thing and yeah that's basically it but I don't know. I wouldn't get too much caught up in it. So don't like be like I don't know. My name is this and that, and oh my god, the music I make this doesn't fit at all with that. It's just
Yeah.
don't overthink it. But it just it. I gotta say it feels nice if it fits, but don't overthink it. And I don't know. For example, Skrillex. I really think this name fits perfectly with like this brutal dubstep he did in the
Hmm.
beginning now he's just doing everything. And I would say if you're very strict, so Skrillex, I don't know if that fits with the future-based thing, for example. But don't get too caught up on it. It shouldn't limit your musicality and your creativity. I think it's at the end it's just a name for people to remember you.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, it's pretty much just like to catch people's attention. But that's really interesting. I mean, if you know what you're doing and it matches your name, why not just run with it? But yeah, that's true. Like don't get caught up in trying to force something when you know that it may be difficult or you feel somewhere like inspired by something else. So it says here that you played at the Electric Love Festival. I understand that's one of the biggest music festivals in Austria, correct? So how is that? Like, I understand. I just imagine like playing at something that big. I mean, I'm sure that you knew about it growing up and everything. So coming into it, like, how was that to finally land a spot just like that?
Yeah, it was. pretty big thing for me. Like as you mentioned, I knew it was this thing existed for a long time because it's again like just if you go with the car like 15 minutes from me from my place, you just go out there into the mountains, and then there's this festival. And yeah, I heard from it, and then the first time I was old enough to attend to it, it was like crazy. It was my first festival experience, and I was really like, oh fuck yeah, I want to do this. I want to stand up there one day. And then I actually found out next year, I think that they have DJ contests and remix contests for a slot. And yeah, I participated. One time, didn't make it. Two times, didn't make it. And the third time, it finally worked out, and that was last year. And yeah, it was just so fucking incredible. And like, even obviously, the set itself was great and like standing on the stage. But what also was really, really cool for me was being backstage, being able to meet some artists, being, I don't know, just being an artist that is playing there and is enjoying everything, and was just a great feeling, to be honest. And I'm so fucking sad it's not happening this year. It would be in 2 weeks.
Hmm.
There would have been the festival, but they are not doing it. They are leaving it out this year, and that's they're gonna continue 1 year in 1 year. Yeah, so I have to wait to be back on stage there. But yeah, I'm hyped again. It's just really, really, really big. I think it's even in Europe, it's one of the biggest.
Wow. Okay. I mean, it's perfect message that you said. I mean, you missed it twice. Got to come
Mhm.
back out again, and then you just got to do it again. Yeah, exactly. You just got to keep perfecting. I'm sure that like you look back at it and you were like, okay, I was good, but I knew that I had room for improvement. Because a lot of people
Yeah.
that I know, they do something and they don't succeed, but sometimes people get mad and they don't understand why they didn't succeed. And that's interesting that you just kept pushing and kept pushing, and you got there, man. That's great, great for you. Like that's huge. Now, because you played there the like last year, do they like look at you and your performance and invite you back next year, or how does it work?
Yeah. Yeah, it was everything was planned for this year. Like I said, photos, they organized everything, and we're about to announce it. And then, yeah, the viral thing happened, and they had to
Hmm.
cancel everything. But yeah, they got me would have get me for this year, and they are actually already planning the next year. So I will be back on stage.
Damn, look at you, man. Congrats. It's huge.
Yeah, thanks.
Are you
Even Skrillex actually has already been on the same stage as me, so it's like really cool to be on the same stage as the person that got me into music in the first place. That was like a big, that feels good.
Yeah, so return to a little kid. You're like, oh, like you don't know me, but you inspired me to do what I'm doing today. Have you like gotten any offers to like come to the states, United States, and perform at how do you music festivals, or is that just something that you're still trying to like, get in the works?
um, I have been talking with like one person that was would really love me to get me into one nightclub, like not a big festival, but one club
Hmm.
where a lot of bass artists play. And he said, yeah, he would be able to organize it. We haven't been. It was like 2 or 3 months ago, and obviously Corona happened, so we haven't been
Yeah,
talking. But I think we can get the discussion back going, and it just if I would go there just for one show, that wouldn't make sense a lot because I don't know, a
definitely.
flight is like 1K,
Yeah,
and I've been
yeah,
there
trust me.
in the States last year in summer. Um, and so I don't know, my parents wouldn't probably pay me another flight just for one night, I guess. But it's really like the big, yeah, it's a goal to be in the States for once and play some shows because it's basically the place where all the bass heads are at and where all the dubstep shows really are. So
Yeah, that makes sense. It is. Yeah, I don't blame you to come for one show. It's just like Like, where am I going to stay? Like, it's literally going to take longer to fly over to fly back than it is to just play and stay in the States. So yeah, that
Yeah.
makes total sense. You mentioned that you were going to the university. What are you studying, and are you just doing it because like it's good to have an education, or are you just putting all your time into like music producing, and you're just going to have an education just because you want to like get a degree?
So I'm studying multimedia arts, and with the focus on audio. So it's basically a music production
Oh,
university. So
okay.
it's just great that it's not like something completely different that's just
Hmm.
annoying me all the time. It's really actually what I'm doing. And at first, my idea was like, okay, I need this university thing because if I won't be able to succeed that well in music, I might need a job still in the music industry. But it really helps if you have a bachelor in music production.
Hmm.
And I was like, okay, I this is like the plan B, to have a solid plan B. I think it's good to have. But actually, I would really say that the experience I had there really influenced and helped myself as a musician, because there are so many different people there that are doing a lot of different genres with a lot of different mindsets. And it's just so great because you can connect with these people,
Hmm.
and it really shaped my thinking about art and about a lot of things. And they really also um, help to the professors, they want us to grow as artists. So it's really not holding me back, it's actually embracing my creativity and everything. So I'm really glad I made the choice and that I'm doing it.
Yeah, it's the same exact thing with I mean just normal universities. Like I mean I'm not going for music production, although that would be amazing. But like you said, it's like being in a classroom with different people with different music backgrounds and everything. They're just pushing you, and yeah, it's like it's shaping like my personal worldview. May not be music wise, but I mean for you, like that's how it works, and that's pretty interesting. That like because it's a music production school, that it's lessons in music production, and because I'm going to like just a normal university, it's like they're parallel to each other. So it's really interesting. Now, I know we could chop it up with you all day. I understand it's late over in Austria. I want you to let you get your sleep. Or you're probably just going to stay up and produce. But either way, it is pretty late, and we could chop it up all day. But I'm gonna have to let you go. But one last question I want to ask you is if you can give any advice to like up and coming producers or to just artists in general, anyone who's like just up and coming and just busting their butts trying to make a name for themselves. What would your one piece of advice be?
Yeah, the things that pop into mind are like the generic, good old, be true to yourself, you can do it, never give up. It's like, it's literally the thing. I was always like, yeah, come on, it's you made it. Obviously, you would say that, but yeah, I also kept pushing. I also lost this competition 2 times and kept pushing and kept improving and was looking back. Okay, what did I wrong? What can I do better? And that's literally it. Just keep it up and stay with it. And if you really want it and you put all your energy into it, you will somehow make it. I promise every single one that is listening.
Perfect. I couldn't have said it better myself. Just be, yeah, exactly. Just, I mean, it's cliche, but once you put it to action,
Yeah,
it turns out to like, it works for the better.
yeah.
All right, then. Thank you guys. We appreciate you tuning in, watching this episode 3 of On the Rise Music Podcast. We appreciate you, Killin Void, for being our guest today and for sharing a little bit of secrets, a little bit of backstories, and just a little bit of advice to up and coming artists and just your fans. Thank you
Thanks for
guys.
having me.
Appreciate you, and we'll catch you on the next episode.